where you work.
Okay. I think we should be ready momentarily, and we are recording. All right, fantastic. My name is Daniel Deondefas, also known as Double D, from Las Vegas, Nevada. I work at Blue Martini, Bagatelle. I just got hired at the Wynn for Andreas, opening New Year's Eve. And I also work at Pure for AMG, which is the property that recommended me for the show.
Okay. So let's have you list out, actually, like all the places that you've worked, you know, all the fancy places, not like where you were like a bar back.
All the fancy places. This is going to take a while. Okay. Los Angeles, worked all up and down the Sunset Strip, at Saddle Ranch, Miyagi's, all the big places back in the day, ran some bars out there, Cabo Cantina and such. Moved to Las Vegas 4.5 years ago to open up both Rock Vegas and Lavo. From there, went to Wet Republic, where I worked for 3.5 years. Also opened up Gillies, Cabo Wabo Cantina, PBR Rock Bar, the Cosmopolitan, and then of course the places that I just mentioned, Pure, Bagatelle, Blue Martini, and now Andreas.
Oh my gosh, that's it?
I've had a very short 12-year career.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so how long have you been bartending?
I've been bartending for approximately 12 years. I started a little bit before I was supposed to, when I was a daytime manager at a small restaurant, when I started putting myself behind the bar.
Perfect. So at Pure, I think you said, I kind of lost track of all the places. At Pure, are you the bar manager there?
No, I'm not the bar manager. I'm one of the bartenders over there. I was brought over there from Wet Republic to stay within AMG, but I'm basically one of the mixologists for AMG. I put 8 drinks on the menu at Wet Republic the prior year that I was out there, so I've done a lot of work with their company to try and help further the brands and places that I've worked with them.
Okay, so let's have you put that in a different type of sentence of I'm a mixologist, a professional mixologist for, and then insert the brand, and this is what I do for them. You know, so basically like developing your what's it called? Developing the drink menus, developing whatever.
Okay. I also do consulting on for other people where I do develop drink menus specifically, help train staff and stuff like that. So I'm versed in basically every style of bartending and portion that you would have to know about working in a bar. So whatever you'd like me to say, though, I will say. I'm your puppet.
Okay. Great. Well, let's get all of that in there because we're pitching you as an expert. So
okay.
The reason that I want to get these sort of cohesive statements is so that we can have you like on tape saying like I develop drink menus for, and then you can list the bars that you've developed drink menus for. I've done training for, and then list those.
Okay. Fantastic. As an expert for bars, I am versed in basically any type of any aspect of bartending. I've developed drink menus for various places such as Wet Republic, with the Cosmopolitan, also maintaining and adjusting the drink menus at Blue Martini to help with cost as well as efficiency and taste to make sure that we're putting out the best product possible. In terms of training, I've worked with Jack Daniels. I'm actually the brand mixologist for Rocco, which is a new vodka-based liqueur that came out this year. We're going to be launching in Australia, and the owner is flying me out there to do all the training for that. In terms of speed and efficiency, I've helped maintain and organize every back bar and the wells at the bars that I've worked at to make sure that everything is in the right place to make sure we can get drinks out as fast as possible with wasting as few steps as need be wasted.
Perfect. So what do you love about bartending?
What I love about bartending are the new challenges that come up with it every day. Even though most people go to work and do the same thing every day, day after day. The great thing about bartending is with every new person that comes to the bar, you're presented with a new challenge and a new way to try and make them happy.
Great. So tell us about, since you've done so many things, tell us about some of the awards and the recognitions that you've received. I know you just said you were a brand manager for this new liquor. So,
yes.
And any type of exposure you've received from the media.
Okay. Let's see, as far as exposure from the media, last year I had 3 magazine articles, 2 with 7 magazine, which is a local publication for drinks that I have made for Wet Republic, for Tasting Panel magazine, which is a national magazine, for a drink that I did with Corzo about a year ago.
Okay, I'm going to have to have you, just give me 1 second, I'm going to have to have you say all of that all over again.
Sure, no problem.
Hold on 1 second. Okay. All right. Let's start. You could say, I have been in the media with,
Okay.
and then list what you were in the media with, and then any awards and recognition.
Okay. I've been in the media with AMG for several drinks that I've created for Wet Republic. I was in Seven Magazine twice last year, and in Tasting Panel, which is a national magazine, once for a drink that I created with Corzo. I also did a YouTube spot for one of our venues for Wet Republic for training on how to make drinks. I also received awards for Bombay Sapphire when I was in their Most Inspired Bartender competition last year, where I placed third for Las Vegas.
Awesome. That's great. You're doing great. Okay. So what would you say separates a good bartender from a great bartender?
I think what separates a good bartender from a great bartender is knowing what you're doing behind the bar. I mean, anybody can sling Jack and Cokes, but when it really comes down to trying to figure out what your guest wants, I mean, the thing about bartending that's tough for a lot of people is figuring out what the guest wants the moment they sit down. We have to know exactly what we're selling to what person by the time they sit down within the first 3 seconds of them being there. Do they want to be talked to a lot? Do they want to be left alone and just have their drinks out immediately? So I think the thing that separates the two, the great bartender and the good bartender, is being able to recognize that. You don't want to over-talk someone when they just want to sit there and talk to maybe the person they're sitting next to, or you don't want to ignore someone who's obviously looking for a little bit of company at the bar and wants to sit there and speak with the bartender.
Okay. So what should every bartender know that most of them don't?
The thing that every bartender should know that most of them don't is what every tool is there for. I hate seeing bartenders fumble around using things that they shouldn't be using, like a strainer. Strainers are not very complicated. You put it on the top of your drink after you shake it to pour it out to make sure there are no ice cubes in there. You don't take the glass that you just shook with, flip it over, stick that in the glass, and then pour it out, because I might as well lick your hand if I'm going to have that drink.
Okay. And then, let's go through 5 technical tips for somebody new to the trade. And we can do them one by one, so, don't get too flustered over, am I on 3 or 4?
Yeah, no problem.
Okay.
My first technical tip would go back to that last thing that most bartenders don't know, is learn all of your tools. It's just embarrassing. It's embarrassing for all of us when we're back there and you're trying to muddle with your bar spoon, or you're shaking with the wrong thing. You're pouring with the wrong strainer that goes in the wrong glass. You just look foolish back there, not knowing what you're doing. The second thing would be ask a question if you're not sure. I mean, when you're new to the trade, if you don't know every single drink that's out there, no one's going to fault you for that. But when someone orders a drink and you just nod your head and make them something reddish and give it to them, that looks bad. The third thing, don't waste your movements. You should know where everything is in your bar, so you don't want to run around like a chicken with your head cutting off when you're looking for a bottle, because all of them have a home. That relates to the next point, which is put everything back where you got it. It severely can slow down your teammates when you're hoarding your bottles in your well and everybody's looking for the one bottle that we had that was open, and now at the end of the night we have 4 bottles open that didn't need to be. And let me see, that was number 4. Number 5, practice your counts. We've all been counting for a very long time. You should be able to count an ounce. 4 counts. Let me see. Oh, and the last one I see way too much out here is don't touch your hair and face. It's not a very long time to stand behind the bar. Girls don't need to flip their hair, pull it back, touch their face, and then make a drink, because again, it's not sanitary.
Okay. Good. So, what would you say is your biggest pet peeve of bartenders behind the bar?
My biggest pet peeve would be bartenders that hoard. Mise en place. There's a place for everything, and everything goes in its place. It's so frustrating when you're looking for the one bottle that was behind you a moment ago, and then you look over to your left, and there's 16 bottles stacked in someone's ice or next to their well because they don't want to put it back.
Perfect. So, what would you say if you were to walk into a bar that's struggling? What would be something that you could say hey, from the get-go, if you do this, you can increase your sales automatically by 20% or 30%, and that might be a display, it might be drink specials, it might be whatever it is that you think that would be an easy fix for any bar.
I mean, mean, an easy fix for most bars is just upselling. The bartender, when someone orders a vodka cranberry, instead of pulling your well vodka and pouring it for them, you take that extra few seconds to ask them if they like Grey Goose or Kettle One, or you name another premium vodka. If you just list the top three, people are usually going to select one of those and not ask for something outside of it, and you went from a $10 drink to a $12 drink.
Okay. And then as far as, let's see, let's try and put some percentages with that, even if they're, like, it doesn't matter if they're not correct. You could say, like, the easiest way to increase sales by 30% is to know your liquor and upsell on every drink.
Okay.
Something along those lines.
Okay, no problem. The easiest way to up your percentages by 20% is to know all of your liquors and to know how to upsell. You can easily take a $10 drink to a $12 drink, giving you that extra 20% per drink that goes out.
Great. And then, let's see, I'm trying to think of something that might be kind of technical, like in terms of like creating a drink. For example, I know a lot of people like to build their drinks from the base up and then add ice later. Like, is there anything that you might have that has to do with like the ingredients? Like, is there a special way that you can that a drink should be prepared? Most people don't actually prepare it that way.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the easiest cost-saving techniques as well is when preparing a cocktail, you prepare it with no ice and you use the least expensive ingredients first, starting with your juices, and then at the end you add your alcohols, because if you put the wrong juice in at the beginning, all you wasted is a few cents by having to re-add those juices. If you put the wrong juice in at the end, you waste the entire cocktail.
That's smart. Okay, good. So I think that's pretty much all that we need.
Okay.